What's up guys, E3 has come and gone as far as I'm concerned, with Microsoft, Bethesda, and Devolver all blowing their load on day one. I mean, there could be some cool stuff out in the rest of the showcases, but nothing I have to see live. So let's go over the games that stood out, not just the ones I thought were good, but just those that were interesting for one reason or another. It's gonna be fun, so let's open up with the worst conference of the three, Bethesda.
It's spooky.
Okay, quick edit, this video was scripted on Monday, but as you can tell, it's Tuesday.
Stop it.
So other reveals happened that I didn't have time to add into this video, but I will say this. The Avengers game looked like live service garbage that needs to earn my respect. The Ultimate Alliance game looks so much better, but it's Switch exclusive. Banjo and Smash was one of the most wholesome things this entire week. I went to the movies instead of watching Ubisoft because Ubisoft, Dark Phoenix was crap, and Tifa's alright boys. We can go home. Okay, to start out strong, let's open up with the best part of Bethesda's conference.
Wow, so many people. Wow, thank you. ありがとうございます.
Oh, were you expecting a game? Because I am not joking. Ikumi Nakamura walking on stage being cute while talking about Ghostwire Tokyo was the most memorable part of the entire show. And yeah, I've seen some people complain about the internet waifuing her, and boy did they, but I'll come back to that. She isn't just a pretty face though, she's the creative director of the upcoming title, and her portfolio contains both Okami and Bayonetta. Honestly, I don't have much love for horror titles, but she was charming enough to make me want to give it a chance.
見てね! Thank you! Bye bye!
No Elder Scrolls 6, or Starfield, at all.
It's not fair. You lied to me.
You just got jammed.
I swear the crowd had to have been heavily curated with some paid plants thrown in for good measure, because no one was booing this abysmal display. I've never seen such ravenous craze for things like microtransactions or mobile games or Fortnite but with more crashes. It was annoying at first, but after a while got funny, and then went right back to being annoying. Did Bethesda drug these people? Did each individual chair come complete with a gun-shaped headrest? Do these people not have spines? I mean, kudos to Bethesda, they 3 years in a row successfully made a worse presentation than the last. That is an accomplishment, and the lack of booing is just mind-boggling. I care so little about what BGS announced that I'm just gonna move on to Wolfenstein, which kinda lost me with the new Colossus, and with Youngblood, again, I don't think I'm gonna get it, but mainly because one of the things I liked the most about the reboot was the calm but furious inner monologues of BJ, and the gritty struggle of that game. With Youngblood, it looks like we're getting...
Why can't you just enjoy life for a second, Jess?
Not saying it's gonna be bad, this E3 trailer does do a lot of things right if I was looking for a more bombastic Wolfenstein, but it's just not for me. Doom Eternal, on the other hand, is what I want to be bombastic and over the top, and despite still not having played the first one, yes I know I need to go to hell, double entendre, fully intended, I will say the game looks distinctly more video gamey now, but that might not be a bad thing. I do think Doom Guy's grunting needs to be toned down a bit, and that ominous choir stuff on Glory Kills does take away from the killer soundtrack. Finally, a surprise addition was Deathloop, a new title by Arcane Studios. I mean, cinematic trailer says absolutely nothing about how the game will actually play, but it got me excited nonetheless, seeing two people who I have no idea which is gonna end up being the protagonist, banging on the dude though since his deaths kinda made him look like an underdog, talking about opposite goals and murdering each other only to wake up ready to fight another day through some sort of weird time loop mess. So, Bethesda's conference wasn't terrible. There were some games to be moderately interested in, but they were all dragged down by their flagship Bethesda Game Studios, utterly dropping the ball. Moving on to Devolver Digital, their show was just an experience. Always fun to watch and a great follow-up to Bethesda. Anyone who didn't already see it should just pause the video and take a look. Now for games, seeing Enter the Gungeon get a real-life arcade light gun cabinet was really cool, but just a little bit outside my finances. Maybe it'll come out to PC one day since there are ways to get a light gun setup working there, but it's still a cool thing for those who actually do have the cash to buy it. Carrion was the only other title that interests me, being a reverse horror game where you play as the Eldritch Monster and hunt people instead. A power fantasy like that sounds awesome. Too bad it's another 2020 title. Finally, there was the Microsoft conference, and they had a ton of games. I swear, ever since TV, they have made sure to get as many games on screen as possible. Well, that and constantly being behind PlayStation probably helps. But hey, it's 2019, and with the absence of PlayStation, as well as them making some questionable decisions.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
It's Microsoft's time to shine. Maybe. As far as things that interested me, for better or worse, let's start out with The Outer Worlds.
Someone who could be a villain. Or a hero.
Looks like the bleeding stopped. I owe you one. Here, hope this gun serves you better than it did me.
Or a psychopath.
Oh.
So, after showing off the game at PAX East, way too early in my opinion, my hype for this title has been significantly tempered. With that said, the trailer didn't do much to excite me, and the gameplay I found later was okay. I like the slow time mechanic, the UI, and especially the cinematic kill animations for followers.
Ironically enough, we'd never made a science fiction game together. We made post-apocalyptic, which is technically science fiction, I guess,
But I do think people need to temper their expectations. This is not some grand, massive Fallout title, and it is a bit sad to watch these devs squirm in their chairs whenever someone brings up the Bethesda comparison. It's not a big budget title, and that's okay. What is not okay though, is that you can't bang your companions.
That was a joke.
Battletoads. I don't know what I was expecting after seeing the logo, but what we got clearly wasn't it. Again, not saying the game is gonna be bad, but it looked slower than what I was expecting a Battletoads game to be, and the graphics are a bit jarring after seeing, Rash and Killer Instinct. Oh, and speaking of graphics, something that flew completely under my radar was the change to the Dark Queen. Ooh. I must have not been paying attention because my mind was still on gameplay speed until Twitter started blowing up. And yeah, oof, that is quite the downgrade. But leave it to the denizens of the internet to post redesign after redesign, ranging from simply improving the blandness to straight up bringing the sexy back in the new art style. It all just reminds me of a reverse hire me Nintendo situation. Oh, current day, never cease to disappoint. But moving on. Quick aside, the LEGO Forza reveal took an extremely bland constant at E3 and made it entertaining, so props to them for that. But Wasteland 3.
Razors? I see you a donkey's age.
Now that was weird. I had no idea I was even looking at a Wasteland trailer until the Robo Scorpion showed up. And that's where I think the trailer kinda fucked up. I'm seeing a lot of reactions like, this isn't my Wasteland, it's too lighthearted, not anything like Wasteland 2, and here's the thing. A developer came out and said the game will be like Wasteland 2 with a mix of seriousness and dark humor. They just wanted to make a trailer for a wider audience. The way I see it though, this could have been better conveyed with the Robo Scorpion because the music briefly stops when it appears, and lingering on that, maybe having a better transition, could have shown that with all this levity, hides underneath it a dark and serious game. Past that I'm interested, but I still need to play Wasteland 2. Okay, Cyberpunk. What really can be said here? The game has been hype building for years now, and every single trailer makes me want it even more. Since we already have seen gameplay of this title, I'm okay with just a cinematic trailer, so showing off both the male protagonists that virtually no one will play,
That was a joke.
and potentially the death of one of your squad mates only served to raise the hype bar even higher. And then this happened.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Keanu fucking Reeves. I'm not joking. Keanu Reeves walking on stage being cute while talking about Cyberpunk 2077 was the most memorable part of the entire show.
Is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
See what I did there? Everyone's got someone they want to fantasize about, and as long as they keep their distance, no harm. With that said, I want a dog saving mission, a cross-shaped shotgun, and at some point the character needs to say, "Whoa." and then anime.
This is how you
appeal to weebs.
Thanks.
Okay, but all seriousness, I expected zero weeb titles at E3, and to my surprise, Microsoft came out with not one, but two. Tales of Arise and the Western release of Phantasy Star Online 2. Now I'm not a Tales fan, but seeing how beautiful the graphics were and the slick bits of gameplay, I might need to be. PSO on the other hand, I am a bit more familiar with playing the first portable game on PSP, so I'm very excited about that. MMOs aren't really my thing, but just like how FGO made me at least consider the mobile market, if any game was going to drag me back to the MMO genre, it would be something like PSO. With that said, this is the same Phantasy Star Online 2 that just recently released cosmetics that give you giant anime titties. I'm not kidding. So controversies and potential censorship are all on the 2020 forecast. Gonna have to keep my eyes on that one. And finally, to wrap this video up, my most exciting game of E3, the thing that has me filled with anticipation, the thing that might honestly have me bend on my gaming principles to get.
There are 6 sirens in the universe. I used to be one of them. My name is Lilith, and I need you.
No offense to Halo fans, I was underneath the Sony spell for most of my life, so I never got to experience that. But Borderlands 3 is a franchise close to my heart. Now I'm not a fanboy, I do have a love-hate relationship with certain game mechanics, and I did not follow the franchise into their brief Telltale phase. But I would be lying if I didn't admit to a, what's up guys, certain level of bias. But honestly, even without that, I think Gearbox, regardless of what you may think about the company, did a fantastic job with this trailer, especially with the music. And accompanying it was a cinematic that showed off characters' abilities, all kinds of weapons, and a spectacular shot of both a gold loot chest opening and the villain showing off with fireworks booming from behind.
We've got another proposal for them.
Much like Cyberpunk, Gearbox took advantage of already having gameplay out in the open so they could instead focus on being an exercise in hype building for E3. Outside of the conference, they also did show a bit of gameplay for the mech gunner character Mose, the character I was most interested in, and I'm a little bit worried that her mech doesn't seem to be affected by her guns, so it might scale poorly throughout the game, but hopefully they learned from previous turret users like Axton in how to scale a non-gun based action skill. On top of all of that, they also straight up released a DLC for Borderlands 2 with new content, new guns, enemies, the works, to tie the two games together, and consequently, the Handsome Collection is on sale right now, for around $6. The Handsome Collection. That's Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel, and with all the DLC for both and this new tie-in DLC, for $6. Yes. Borderlands 3 is still months away, give or take a year depending on your platform preference, so for them to do something like this is very surprising. As far as I'm concerned, the BO3 showcase was the best thing out of E3. Please Randy, please don't fuck this up.